So are you the kind of person that likes to look at film photos, or you'd like to get into film photos, but at the same time, you don't want to invest, you don't know how to shoot exposure for film, and maybe you're starting to realize that it's not really something you want to go through the full hassle of having to get film developed, printed out, scanned, etc., etc. Well, if you're a Fujifilm owner, or if you're looking at the Fujifilm system, you are in luck, because Fujifilm, thankfully, gives us some creative control over our picture profiles. So as with Sony and Canon, you're able to just go through and maybe pick some picture profiles that change something like contrast or maybe the vividness of a photo with colors. Fujifilm gives you a lot more control, and by doing this, you're able to have some photos that not only have film color-ish looks, but also you can add different types of grain and really fine-tune your photos down to something that you may see as more creatively beautiful in your eyes. This will require you to either shoot in JPEG completely or JPEG plus RAW like I do. I am actually shooting on 2 cards. These Fujifilm recipes, these film recipes using Fujifilm cameras are fantastic. I use them every day now for all my personal stuff, and even on professional work, I'm actually interested in using them as well and showing clients because they just look great out of camera. The look that you get, it's not so much that film is the end-all be-all of everything, but it's the warmth of a photo, it's the way that it just makes things quicker. And a lot of times anyway, what people are looking for whenever they're posting these photos online is basically these picture profiles that Instagram and all these other places are making, Visco or whatever it's called. They're making it to look more vintage. Now head to this website and you've got film recipes for every single Fujifilm camera, from X-Trans to the Bayer sensors, the different levels, whether it's one of their prosumer, consumer, or the professional cameras, all throughout. They've got amazing recipes for you. The man who started this is amazing. I go here daily. I find some recipes, I put them on my camera, I tweak them. I've settled on 3 that I really like: Kodak 64, Portra 400, and Superia 1600. And I'm actually going to show you these in this video, as well as what these do when you're shooting at what your camera's exposure meter says is perfect exposure versus a little bit overexposed. Because just like with film photography, the great thing about Fujifilm whenever it comes to their film simulations, and even whenever it comes to these film recipes, is you get different looks and feelings whenever you push the film brighter versus when it's exposed perfectly or underexposed. Now, some of these you may like to look at 1 stop over, some of these you may like to look at 2 stops over. Some of them you may like at perfect exposure, maybe underexposed. It's all gonna matter on your preference, and honestly, creatively, it all matters on what you like for this certain point. And that's the amazing thing about these, is it breathes fresh new life into your Fujifilm cameras. I live in a place to where I think, you know, maybe everything's boring. I don't go out that much anymore because of COVID, but I'm able to shoot stuff around the house, or able to shoot my fiance. I probably shouldn't say shoot my fiance, because I listened to a lot of true crime recently, podcasts with her, and that's pretty much grounds for me to eventually get arrested if this goes on the internet. I'll stop talking, I'll let you look at these photos. I'll put the film recipe for each photo right on the side, and yeah, you can make your decision. Which one do you like? How do you like it shot? Are you gonna go out and play with these? Here you go. What I plan on doing is I plan on buying a whole bunch of 1 gigabyte SD cards, 5 of them to be exact, and I plan on putting on each of those SD cards which film simulation, which film recipe I'm going to be shooting on. For example, I'll put Portra 400, 64, Superior 1600, and I hear you get about 36 shots of JPEG on that 1 gigabyte card. And if you think about it, that's basically like shooting a roll of film. And with me shooting on the X Pro 3 with a 35 1.4, you know, it already looks like a film camera, and I'd like to let it function like one. I'm not one who was big into film photography, and I have shot film. I used to shoot it with my grandfather whenever I was young, and there was a stint for about 2-3 years where I actually had a few film cameras from him, and I purchased a few of my own. This Canonet no longer works though. Unfortunately, I dropped it, and it's been a no-go since. But I just don't like the workflow, but I always miss the colors. I always miss the grain. The colors are the reason why I switched to Fujifilm, but things like this with these film recipes, they just make it easier to feel like I'm back at home with what I used to shoot. So I hope this helps you out. If you have any questions, you can put them down in the comments. I understand this is gonna be my 4th video, so I don't expect much engagement. If I get some, that'll be great. You may be the only person I talk to, but anyway, I'm here to post, and I hope this is something that's helpful to you. Thanks.